What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Daily Refinement. My name is Chris, and I make a full-time living online. This is my buddy Prince. Prince, what's going on?
What's going on, guys? My name is Prince Patel. I also sell online. I'm a full-time reseller. And yeah.
Yeah, today, guys, we want to address Elliott Management's letter to the eBay board of directors, and the number 2 tip in their 5-stage plan to revitalize eBay is revitalizing marketplace. And they write a really scathing sentence, which I'm just going to repeat, which is eBay's marketplace is a strategically viable asset that has been weathered, prolonged, and basically been a victim of self-inflicted misexecution. Management should turn its singular focus to growing and strengthening marketplace. And it's pretty obvious. Prince and I haven't been doing this since the beginning, but in the last few years, we haven't seen a focus on marketplace. We are definitely involved with eBay at different levels. We talk to them and go over new features. We're very active in the community. And the focus, from my point of view, has been on product catalog, which is part of marketplace. But Prince, what do you think they've been working on since we've been starting?
I've been seeing them trying to get more involved in the community and get hands-on with like each person at each seller. But I think it needs to be more broadened, more generalized, because right now the focus is too small and it needs to be spoken about.
No, I 100% agree with you. It needs to be like big changes. And Prince and I were discussing, like, Amazon has made all these giant bets, and the people that work there are encouraged to take risks and build programs that may or may not work. I don't know if you guys remember, Amazon released a phone. I think it was called Amazon Fire. And it was a horrible failure. They released everything. But there are certain things that do stick, like Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is probably really hard to figure out. So was Kindle. So was this third-party fulfillment, where they let millions of people sell stuff on their platform and they fulfill it. That's insanely hard. They also have AWS, and they make a ton of money on that program. But these are all big bets, and we want eBay to make some big bets so that if just one or two of them work, then eBay can double its stock, and you guys can double your stock and increase the marketplace's value, which is super stale.
Right, and we can't guarantee that eBay stock will double from these tips, but it's granted that you can't grow without taking on risk, especially when you get to a certain level as a company, and especially when your competitors are making all these big risks and succeeding at some of them. You need to start implementing some new changes.
Yeah, we think eBay is too comfortable. We want to really get in there and start making some changes. And my first idea is, why don't we introduce something like eBay same day? So Prime doesn't actually arrive in 1 or 2 days always. Sometimes a little later, but you just sort of expect that it's going to be fast as a consumer. It's easy to understand. So if we release something like eBay same day and you give sellers a badge that means something, top rated seller is the badge you have right now, which is, I'm unclear to what that means. Why wouldn't everybody be top rated? It doesn't make me want the product. It may differentiate different sellers.
Right.
It doesn't affect me as a consumer. But eBay same day, it's like a person will send the item out within 24 hours is awesome. I like the idea of because I want to support small business too.
Yeah. And that needs to be shown prominently. It needs to be marketed in a way where people know that's what it is. Because even us as sellers, we barely understand what the benefit of having top rated is as far as the badge goes and what that means for our consumers. And so that just needs to be said very clearly and concisely.
We want to focus on the end user, and they don't understand guaranteed delivery it says guaranteed by this date, but then there's no way to really sort. Like, the guaranteed delivery button is very prominent, but if you click it, a lot of the inventory on eBay is not eligible. I think if you incentivized that and said, like, hey, the fees are a little bit less if you offer guaranteed shipping, everybody would opt into it. And then you would actually have inventory for people to buy, but there's no incentive to take 3 days versus the same day.
So the only incentive I see is the theory that your listings will be shown more. The algorithm will be more in your favor if you do offer these things. But that's not said by eBay, though. That's because we experience it as sellers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want new sellers, they're not going to know anything like that. And so you have to make this very clear.
Yeah, you have to make it super clear. And also, this trying to guess what Cassini wants needs to stop. Like, we need to just, what does the person who buys stuff on eBay want? And then if you do a better job of that, you rank higher. It doesn't make sense to do this weird who tweaking your listings every day is what people think helps your listing. It's eBay folklore that if you're in your store being active, it makes people buy it, that shouldn't have anything to do with the actual product or shipping or return policy. That's very odd.
Yeah, in my last 2 years of being full-time on eBay, I've noticed a similar thing. Even though my listings are consistent, the amount of volume that I have is consistent, everything's consistent, the data is consistent, the traffic is consistent, but for some reason, when I'm more active in my store, I see a higher purchase rate or sell-through rate. And that's just, leaving that up in the air is it's odd. It's very odd.
We're spending way too much time working on these arbitrary things versus working on sourcing the best products for people or setting up systems so that we can ship things faster. If there was I'll give an example from another platform, and we're going to probably do that a lot today. In Poshmark, they actually gamify it. So it'll tell you how many days it takes you to ship, 0.9, 0.8, 0.7. And people are just shipping faster just to get feel-good points. They figured out a way to get people to ship faster without paying anything. That's brilliant, right? And then people are worried about, because if you sell one item at a time on eBay, there's no way to print a scan form. You have to do multi-quantity shipping, and that stops at 50. And you
Mm-hmm.
can't combine scan forms. So you make it difficult for the post office to scan a commercial seller, or even just a medium-sized seller. You force the seller to go to the post office to get it scanned, to get that exact timing. And it's very difficult also to submit penalties for shipping late. When the item arrives on time, but the tracking didn't update until the next day, there needs to be an automated way to not be penalized for that. Because if it arrives on time, you shouldn't be hit.
Mm-hmm. So I actually have a personal gripe with this. Recently, in the past month, I just want to share my story. So I drop off all of my orders in the back of the post office. I've been doing this for a year and a half, no problems. I put all my orders in a plastic bag or in a bin. I take them, drop off in the back. They scan it, fine. So one time, a whole weekend of my orders did not get scanned. For some reason, there was a glitch in the system where they were moving in transit throughout the postal system, but it wasn't scanned in at the post office where I dropped it off. And therefore, it was all marked late shipped. And so I had called eBay, and the response to that was, oh, we can only handle a few at a time, and we can only talk about a few at a time. So since you have over 100 and plus that are missing or that got late, we can't really do anything about that. Sorry. So ultimately, the answer that I got was sorry. And that's just, that's pretty unacceptable for someone who you consider a high value target as a seller on your platform.
And also, none of those packages were late.
Nope, none of them were. So I got a lot of messages from my customers saying, "Where's my item? The tracking's not updating. Where's this? Where's that?" Mm-hmm. And I ran around trying to figure out what's going on. We tried geolocating these packages, no avail. But everyone got the item on time. But I got penalized for that.
You can also on one thing you can also prompt the customer with, because on Mercari, when the tracking hits the customer, you get a ping. Your package is on its way. Please give the tracking 24 to 48 hours to show updates. So it gives the customer an idea. Okay, it's shipped, but it may take a while. So don't clog up the system by emailing your seller, because that's a waste of time.
Yeah.
If it's
I agree. It takes away resources from sellers like Chris and I, where we want to focus on the products and the listings, and we don't want to be focusing on stuff that can be avoided with simple updates to the platform.
And not to keep mentioning Mercari, but we will because it's awesome. It says right on there, seller ships usually within 1 day. And that's good enough if you're buying from a person. And they average about 1 day. I don't think it's that bad. You're not buying from Target, or it's not Amazon Prime. And especially if it's a real photo on eBay and not a stock photo, it's
Right.
definitely a person. If they have a badge that says fast at communication, that's great too. There's no reward on eBay to responding quickly, except for hypothetically that makes you rank higher if you have faster customer service, but we don't know what that means. I would love for it to say seller responds within an hour. There's a lot of apps that do that.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely amazing because even from a consumer's perspective, right now, when I go purchase online and I buy everything online, from my couches to my sofa to my whiteboards, anything, right? What I look at is how fast it'll be shipped, the general time, not exactly, but generally, is it going to be shipped in a day? I'm happy. And the second thing I look at is if I have a question, I want to answer it, and will this seller answer it in a reasonable amount of time frame? I'm happy. That's who I'm going to purchase from, and that's where I'm going to feel most comfortable as a consumer. And so, if you're not making those two things obvious, you're gonna have a really difficult time as a platform.
I just attended the Becoming eBay Summit, where we talked to 250 employees, and one of the sellers on stage, and this is one thing I really want to talk about, how passionate eBay sellers are. He was saying, look, this might hurt me as a commercial seller, but I want it to be easier for consumer sellers to sell. And right now, it's not easy to use the app because it's difficult to understand what happens. And Prince and I are going to go over a couple of examples. One example is shipping. Every single shipping option available to man is on the shipping form on mobile and on desktop. And there's actually no proprietary advantage. There's no eBay post that eBay, despite being the second largest e-commerce platform, has no negotiated rate with the post office that's an advantage. And
yeah, well, Chris, they do, right? They do have a discount for us when we sell on eBay as opposed to going straight to the post office.
but not a proprietary one. They
Okay,
don't have
okay,
they
got
don't
it.
have one that's only eBay.
Okay, got it, got it, got
And
it.
you can see, I forgot what the term means, but eBay has all the data for all the packages that go into the post office. They can negotiate a rate based on the average. And I know they work with Pitney Bowes, but so does everybody else uses a third party vendor to print the labels too. But as an example, if there were three options when you were on the app, under 1 pound, 1 to 5 pounds, and then 5 to 10 pounds, use our eBay shipping supplies, which we force you to buy with your store subscription. And if it's a certain way, and the post office knows, oh, that's an eBay package, it's has this kind of rule on it. That's going to make it easier with the communication. There are sellers even that take a padded flat rate envelope to the post office and it's refused because the post office doesn't understand that flat refers to the price and not the shape of the mailer. There's no easy way for it to understand. And you can see on like Poshmark, on the label, it explains to the post office, look, this follows this specific guideline. If you have any questions, look it up. So it's professional. It's not the seller telling the post office worker how this is supposed to be handled. We can't, I mean, it needs to be more automated and easier for people to understand. The shipping is, I said on stage, I'm worried about people abandoning the app. They want to sell
Mhm.
their toaster, they get the shipping, they don't understand it, they go to a different site.
Right.
And that's bad.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. So me as a seller, I currently ship around 2,000 items a month, right? And the only two primary shipping options I use is first class mail and padded flat rate envelope, priority mail. So there's about, I don't know, 30 to 50 different shipping options. If I was a new seller and I'm going on there, I see that, I'm done. I'm like, I need to spend 5 hours researching what all these mean, and I just can't do it. I'm throwing in the towel. So they need to make it in a way where most sellers use a certain type of shipping method. They need to make it one click. You can't make it that complicated for people to utilize your platform.
And I think it needs to be under 1 pound, the eBay bag, which you guys already have. It's a 12 by 15 poly mailer that qualifies for zero point 0.3 cubic feet. And
Yeah.
it's a banging deal. But
And Chris, on that point, I don't understand why. You know how Amazon, okay, I'm going to talk about Amazon right now. They use the Amazon tape, Amazon Prime tape. It's so popular. Everyone knows what it is. That tape is like a brand in itself. So why can't eBay just use this tape for everything or use eBay branded logos on all their boxes, it would be such a good thing for brand equity and continuing to grow this brand. And I just don't understand what the complication is between integrating that into their service. Right now, they offer the eBay tape. Have you seen recently? Have they been offering the eBay tape for your store subscription? You get free 5-pack of tape. That's great and all, but only if you have a store subscription. Only if you pay them, you get a certain amount of tape. First, secondly, you have to promote their brand. That's what the tape is for. They should be handing that out like it's nothing.
I know. They should be doing it so it's on everybody's moving supplies. That tape needs to be everywhere so people have that brand awareness in front of them. And it needs to not also say "shout steal me." Fluorescent yellow is not a good look. Let's make it or blue. Let's make it a little more professional looking. And and they already have that. They have the new branded logo, which looks more modern and it's cool.
Right. But no, I agree with you.
It 100%. Looks a little bit like there's something valuable inside me. Also, we want to point out that the package theft, it does happen, but it's like extremely, I feel like it's just overblown by the media. It's actually, the post office is extremely reliable, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I've shipped maybe like 20,000 items the past year and a half, and I'd say like a 99.9% accuracy on the shipments. Even as opposed to like back in the day where you probably see a little bit higher issues. It's been pretty much made into a way where it's always accurate. So gotta take advantage of that.
Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about is adding in cubic shipping. That is how you get a normal rate. Because so like if you have a 12 by 15 poly mailer, which you guys sell in your shipping supply store, that actually ships regardless of weight. And that would be so easy to understand for a customer. You get under 1 pound is first class, 1 to 5. I mean, actually no weight limit, but if it fits in this bag, it ships for $9. And if it fits in this box, it ships for $15. That would be so easy to understand. And if you gave those boxes out, people would go home and say, okay, what can I fit in this box and get rid of and get some cash? Because they'd understand like how to do it.
And that makes total sense, because when I think about Amazon in a way, I'm thinking they give me these preset options of how much I can ship in a box. I'm like, okay, what can I fit in your sell on Amazon? And then ultimately give Amazon the fee of me selling on Amazon.
Yep. So one thing Prince and I want to introduce today is the idea of an eBay education program. So, Prince and I really wanted to make some kind of college program, because you can make a full-time living on eBay, and we want kids to know that, especially college kids who have $100,000 in student loan debt, and they enter the market and they're grossly underemployed. You just have this really expensive degree and you're earning $40K. You have 28-year program to pay back your student loan. That is rough. So we want some way to advertise to eBay college students, and Amazon is getting them right when they're young by saying, hey, sell your books on FBA. You're not gated. Anybody can sell used books as long as you provide good customer service. Send it in. And they have Amazon lockers all over campus. And eBay has no presence on college. So we're saying, can you make some type of eBay education program? So if you're in high school, like you just graduated and you're 18 and you want to make some extra money, maybe your first $1,000, if you have a verifiable edu email, then you get free eBay fees for $1,000 or something to get the ball rolling. And even this reminds me, Apple gives you a discount if you have a verifiable edu email. They're trying to get them young, get them hooked onto the brand. And I would love eBay to do that.
Chris, that makes a lot of sense. And not even college kids. I would say college kids and high school kids. These kids nowadays, modern time, are very, very active. They're very smart, especially with technology. This needs to be your target demographic. This needs to be your new focus, because I don't see that from eBay. What do you see?
Bloomberg just slammed eBay and said it's for 40-year-old dudes.
See, and I don't even want to be rude. I don't even want to go all the way there, but I mean, we've been to eBay Open, we've been to eBay events, we've seen how it functions, we've seen the demographic firsthand, right? And there needs to be a shift to the younger demographic because these are the people that you are going to rely on in the next decade or two to continue growing your company and brand. And I don't see a focus hard enough on that.
Prince and I, we do live shows and interviews all the time, and some that are really inspirational is like one is I think her screen name is Teen Thrifts, and her name is Lexi, and she's 15, and she sells on her parents' account, and she basically does her homework. She does 10 listings, and then kids stuff. It's so funny to me that she categorizes her life like that, like homework, 10 eBay items, kids stuff, and then her parents. If there was a way for a badge to be like, this is a kid listing, monitored by their parents, that's so cool. I would love to somehow create some programs where kids can list with their parents, because that's a great activity to do. If kids know how to hustle, I mean, that's such a valuable life skill, but there needs to be some incentives to create all this hype.
100% agree with you. Even though that is a little bit more detailed and specific for what eBay needs to do right now.
Right.
Lexi is amazing, by the way. She sent me a DM the other day. She sent me a picture of her notebook. It was cost of goods sold, net profit. This is a 15-year-old, and I think we met her like a year or two ago.
Yep.
That's incredible for her to have that foundation, not only for the brand and the company eBay, but just in general to have that foundation of selling products online. Incredible. She's going to go very, very far in life.
And she already understands like social media. She's 14, 15, but she has 5 years experience already. Like she already recognized that she has a channel called Teen Thrifts, and it's a brand. It's separate from her normal Instagram. At age 15, she already knows she's building something beyond that brand. Which brings us to another thought that Prince and I were discussing, which is there's no social element on eBay at all. It's not you can't easily share it to social media. There's no incentives for working on it. It's not fun. There's no and people like to mindlessly like things, and we don't have any traction. There's no way to tell customers this product is really popular. It's very liked and favored and shared. This product has been shared to friends X amount of times. There's no social backbone.
Right. No, I definitely agree with it. There needs to be more of a shareable aspect with eBay. And currently they have, I think the response to that is the eBay community forum, which, by the way, guys, if you guys are not aware, that's because it's not that good. It's not active. People don't go there for information. There's a very small group of people that continue to use that forum. And it just needs to be completely revamped and updated in a way where it could be keeping up with the modern times of social media as far as sharing on Twitter, sharing on Instagram. That needs to be a thing.
I want to slightly defend the eBay community because there is 3 million people in there that talk about stuff, but I would guess from just me and Prince and I going to all these events that the 3 million people, all of them are over 40.
You know, and that's not even the issue that they're over 40, but the thing is 3 million compared to what they could be reaching is significantly low.
That's true. That's fair. And that goes to our thoughts on eBay influencers. And we want influencers to not be people who resell. We want influencers who have a large audience. There's a gentleman on stage that did like a few $1 million in sales, and he said, my daughter is on Instagram or social media all day, and there's a person saying, hey, buy my lipstick or whatever, and she does, and that link never goes to eBay. How do we get that link to go to eBay? It never goes to eBay. Because I'm the one paying for all this stuff that my daughter is buying. And it's never eBay. And it's so frustrating.
Right. The structure of sharing eBay listings and the whole affiliate structure is just not as strong as what other platforms have made the standards to be. And I think that's what primarily the issue is. And it's also just a branding and an issue where eBay has evolved, right, completely from where they were 10 years ago to where they are now. So they need to completely change and shift the mindset of people that they've been targeting 10 years ago into the modern eBay. And they're not doing, in my opinion, a great job of that. Because the current eBay to me is amazing. I love it. Everyone around me is like, whoa, I didn't even know eBay was this great. I love it. It's cheaper than every other website. This is amazing. We even get it fast. But see, like the general public doesn't know that.
No, they
and
don't.
that's an issue.
My fiance is 27 and she hasn't purchased anything on eBay ever. Like she the thing that she likes most about eBay, which is kind of odd, is that she knows the item is physically in hand. She really likes that about eBay. She wants something and she's worried about it being overly hyped. She'll have me buy it on eBay because she's like, as long as there's pictures that they have it, then I believe them. And she likes that part of it. But as far as understanding how fast she's going to get something, she's busy. She just uses Amazon. She knows when it's coming. And the younger folks, they're not talking about eBay. They're talking about Wish. They're talking about other apps,
Yeah.
different apps.
And actually, even like amongst, I've seen the people that I've grown up with, I get emails all the time. Your friend, blah, 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 has joined Poshmark. Your friend, blah, 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 has joined Mercari.
Right.
I'm not getting emails of people saying, your friend has joined eBay.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's true. They're not. And the eBay Power Seller program used to be kind of like a badge of honor, and people are like, "Oh, I'm an eBay Power Seller." Now it has the reputation like, "Oh, that means you're unemployed or you're not doing well," because there's no like the the branding of the eBay seller is not. It is a person holding a garage sale online. You need to fix the PR. The PR needs to be better. The eBay seller needs to be glorified if you want people to start doing it. One example is Poshmark is pumping out all these Poshmark totes, Poshmark wine cooler. They're making selling on Poshmark very, very cool. Like people buy the Dymo printer, shout out to Dymo, and rose gold. They make it so beautiful to sell on the website, and people love it. They love being part of that, like bougie, like fancy, well, curator. Like they're finding beautiful items in the world to share with you to sell. And I love that catered look, even though it's still used clothing. They made it way it sounds like a wine tour.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of sellers who have like premium used clothing for sale, but people don't know that. That's even hard for me to even recognize because I'm not really looking for clothing like that on eBay. But if I had known about it more, if eBay was doing better PR, I would be buying my clothes from eBay.
And I would love for eBay to do some influencers where they talk about how much money they make on eBay, because I don't think people get it. As flooded and difficult as eBay's is, according to the media, it's a great way to make a living. If an influencer, like I always want The Rock. If we went to The Rock's and we just started selling movie memorabilia and we gave all the money to charity, it would be so viral. Every single media would be like, you wouldn't believe what they found in The Rock's closet to sell on eBay. And they gave it to some kids. That would be trending on every single media channel. It's worth the $20 million that he wants for that. It's worth it because everyone will talk about it.
100%. And have you noticed whenever they do have like one memorabilia for sale for charity, it does go viral.
It blows up, I know.
But now, if they started to actually implement that at scale or create a program, as you just mentioned, where you go to a celebrity's house and start auctioning off stuff that they don't want or they want to sell off for charity, it's a great idea.
Even Prince and I are also talking about, there's all these challenges like these dance challenges and the water bucket challenge, things that go viral. If eBay sponsored one and it was like, hey, I sold this and gave the money to this, I tagged 3 people, they sell something and give the money to this charity, it would be insane. Like the bucket challenge raised like hundreds of millions of dollars for ALS. And it was trendy. Celebrities were doing it for free.
Right.
There are ways to get celebrities to do things that don't cost money.
Right.
I think we really need to focus on getting that trend and buzz and what else could I sell. But I really do think that the eBay bag, you guys call the post office and the phone number, there's a letter that Poshmark sellers bring to the post office if they ever have any problems. And there's a phone number to the lady that gave Poshmark that proprietary shipping quote, which is called Posh Post. eBay should call that phone number and talk to that person and say, give us some kind of proprietary eBay bag that ships for $9 no matter how heavy it is. And then people will just start using it and getting rid of all the stuff in their house because there is so much stuff. They said the average person has like 30,000 items in their house.
Yeah, and the average person also has a couple of $1,000s in profit of stuff in their house.
Yeah,
And they have
absolutely.
no idea, and they could be struggling, and they have no idea that they could just use eBay really quickly and build up that capital and not have to worry. It's a win-win for both sides. It's not being marketed as it should be.
We also want to talk about eBay stores. The store subscription needs to have cooler stuff in it. It needs to have, if for example, during the listing flow, you could add in cost of goods sold. And you could pull in the shipping data onto the same transaction. So when you sold it, it would say, okay, you sold this thing for 25 bucks. You paid $6.50 for shipping. You told us you paid $3 for the item. This is how much you net. Great job. Go list something else.
Right.
That's easy to understand. But right now it says, by agreeing to list on eBay, you agree to pay fees that you don't understand. Please click this and read this fine print that no one has ever done.
Right.
You don't know.
Yeah, so like that is one issue as well. So my cousin the other day told me a story of how he went to go sell a large jacket on eBay. He sold it for $80, happy, ecstatic, right? He looked at his PayPal, got 70 and change. Then he went to go ship it. He looks at the number of options. He sees the prices: $35, $45, $37.95. He's like, oh, what do I do? And so he does a $37 one. He pays it. Okay, now he's down to $30 profit on the item. And then he gets hit with the eBay fee at the end of the month. Out of nowhere. He has no clue that he's going to get hit with another 10% in fees.
Yeah.
And so it would help. Now he's risk averse from selling on eBay because he doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand that you get fees at the end of the month. He doesn't understand there's no fee netting. He doesn't understand the shipping options. And so, if it was more transparent, I'm sure he'd want to even sell more stuff on the platform. And this is my family member. So he knows I sell on eBay. So like you kind of understand like where the PR is at with this.
And then I have to go on Instagram and read his cousin's post that says #never again, never again, never again to eBay. Because you think you sell for 80, you think, okay, a little bit less than 80 is what I get, 70 maybe. And then you find out you don't know how to ship. So you go to the post office because you don't know that that's twice as expensive as using eBay's commercial plus rate. Yeah. And we do give eBay credit for having a commercial plus rate, but that's Prince and I, at our scale, we can get that commercial plus rate. And eBay sells so much stuff. They should be able to get something that's slightly better. I really want them to have a proprietary rate. I don't get why they don't.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. For someone, I've dropped my career path, which was civil engineering, to do eBay full time, not only to do it as a business, but to promote it on social media. Why isn't there additional incentives for us to help grow your platform and your business directly? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why they're not doing anything to help incentivize a long-term plan for us.
And also, every platform that we've seen has really clear ways of promoting certain people. Like, for example, Amazon is basically a very focused strategy of just having the best affiliate program. And we know that eBay's affiliate program is rife with fraud. A lot of people stuff the eBay cookies or whatever into things and try to hack that. But that's not really a good excuse. I'm sure that happens with Amazon too. And you need to figure out, like, we hear it's hard, but then we also think Amazon Prime is hard to put together. All of these programs are hard. Everything is hard. That's a weird excuse that you can't do it because it's hard. Because Amazon is just as old. It's just as old. We really want execution. We want roadmaps. We want to know when this stuff is going to roll out.
Right, and we're not even expecting pioneering to go on here. We're expecting eBay to meet the standards and demands of the current times that we live in.
Yeah.
And even if they just do that, they'll be able to secure a longer brand equity in this, as a company. So
we have to talk about email threads for the communication.
Oh boy, do we have to talk about email threads? So I currently have about 50 messages that are unread right now that I need to, right after this call, I'm going to go ahead and respond to all of them. Now, the issue is, and I don't know if you want to touch base on this first, but I have to individually click on each person's name, open a new tab, figure out what I said to them prior to that because it's not threaded, which is the issue. The emails aren't threaded, meaning you can't see all the prior messages that you sent. So you have to go back, go to your email, see what you sent, see the report. Because when you're selling at scale, you can't remember each person's transaction or the history of the transaction. You have to go back, and it's just very time consuming and very, it's just something that needs to be updated.
When I wake up in the morning and I answer the messages in the morning, it's between 30 and 50 as soon as I wake up. And it's always, um, did you, um, it's something to do with the offer or the item. And it's not easy to reference that on Mercari, the offers and the messages are all threaded. It's extremely easy to use because you know when they purchased it. It's even, I'm sorry, not only is it threaded, it's time-stamped like a text message. Right under it, it says exactly when this communication happens. If you look at it and it's been 24 hours, that's way too long. You need to address this person right away. But if it's like 5 minutes, you should be able to tell how long ago the previous thread was, all in one messaging bubble, because it's just, we can't provide good customer service if you have to go to your email or the search function and look for the previous message. That's insane. It can't be like that.
No, it's completely ridiculous. And they even have now third-party apps like 3D
Right.
sellers
Yep.
trying to resolve this issue. Even for them, it's very difficult because there's a bandwidth issue and you have to take it outside of eBay to do this. If eBay would just implement it on their own site, this would change a lot for them as far as customer service goes for medium to large sellers. It would be a game changer.
So this is something that Prince and I want to talk about. We both like 3D sellers. If you guys want to code, message us. But that should be part of the eBay subscription, and we are willing to pay for these kind of functions. Like if you guys don't have money, which is not true, if you guys don't need the money to fund these programs, then charge for a subscription that includes better tools like visibility of profit loss, visibility of email threads, easier ways to adjust promoted listings. Promoted listings is very hard to use. And what happens is people default to, okay, promote my whole store. And that's bad for the entire marketplace. You're artificially this is what you're doing. You're artificially inflating the price for your consumer. Because sellers are not dumb. They raise their prices to compensate for having to pay a higher fee, and it's
right. And I think eBay. I think the response to that was, "Oh, don't raise the price. Just do promoted listing." Guys, come on. You're giving sellers control of pricing and structure and ads and all that stuff, and you're expecting them to take a loss when they don't have to. When you've created a structure to be like that, that's silly.
If we have to pay 2% more fees, Prince and I are totally okay with you guys making a fair, flat fee. eBay one fee. Mm-hmm. If we were CEO, which we should be after this call, we're going to introduce eBay one fee. One fee for the whole thing that you understand. You sell it, there's your one fee done. And we're going to let customers know, by the way, shipping costs money, and here are some easy ways to do it.
Right.
The way the flow does, it's pretty easy to skip over the shipping part even and list the item without even knowing what you're going to pay.
Right. I guess I've been doing eBay for like 8 to 10 years now. So to me, it seems very familiar. But if I were to look at it from a new seller's perspective, there is a ton of options and things like MPN and this and that. Like I would have no idea what that even means. And so I think the way that they have it set up is a bit lackluster, and it needs to be ramped.
And I want to touch again on the social influencer base. When you ask people, how did you learn how to sell something? They always say, oh, I YouTubed it or I Googled it, how to learn something, right? And the most popular trending videos are never the company. No company information is trendy because it's the company. It's biased. People don't want to listen to eBay explain how to list something. They want Kylie or whatever her name is.
Kardashian, yeah, Kylie Jenner.
They want a Kylie Jenner on there explaining like, oh, if you guys want to you guys want to make some extra money this weekend, this is how you do it. Everyone would know how to do it.
And you know, that's a very good point because see, if I was to walk around and rah rah eBay, like eBay is amazing, you might not get that much traction. But if you get Kylie Jenner to go walk around and say eBay is great, that's a big deal. Someone is co-signing for your brand. That changes the whole playing field because now it's like Kylie Cosmetics, right? Kylie Cosmetics is popular and thriving because of Kylie Jenner. If it was Prince Patel selling Kylie Cosmetics, it wouldn't be doing well because people trusted people. This is a human game. This is all PR and marketing, and you have to understand that as we evolve into that world. And I posted this on my Instagram the other day. I said, don't be surprised if your mom starts posting affiliate links on Facebook to her girlfriends in 5 years, because that is where we're headed.
It is.
You know, everyone's starting to learn technology a little bit more and more. My mom is even on technology where she's understanding things like sending links places. When she understands that she can make $1 or $2 by sharing a product, she's going to be like, I'm down. And she's going to post it on Facebook. Like, guys, check out this new hair straightener from eBay. Amazing. You gotta go with the times.
That's such a good point. The social media or the social influence, the social validation is allowing people to go directly to the brand.
Yes.
And, like Tesla, there's no middleman. You just order it. And that's going to happen soon. It's going to be basically you just order it directly from whoever. And then the person that told you to order from them gets a small piece of it. And
Right.
eBay is not really telling people. They were first to market. They have a gigantic marketplace. And I guess people always start there.
Chris, you know what's interesting about Tesla? If you buy a Tesla, it sort of feels like you're interacting with Elon Musk in a way, right?
For sure.
So that's the way he's built the company and the brand. It's very human-like. So it's very interesting the way that the company is growing. I think they're building 500,000 cars in 2019.
Yeah.
To put that in perspective, Toyota builds, I believe, 10 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
And this company is very new compared to Toyota. So
it's brand new.
Yeah, it's very interesting that a company could have a brand or a face like that while selling cars.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's something that we've both met Devin, the CEO of eBay, and there's nothing wrong with him, but he's not ever engaging with sellers publicly. And Jeff Bezos doesn't either, but for some reason you connect the two and you feel like you're financing Jeff Bezos' space program when you buy something on Amazon. It feels but he's likable. I like Jeff Bezos. I like that.
You know, that's a really good point too. If I don't know what Devin's up to. I don't know what he does in his day. If I knew he was doing something or working towards something, if I knew more about the CEO himself, I would be way more inclined to even support the platform in itself. Because we know Jeff Bezos is up to the whole NASA thing or whatever, like going to Mars or whatever. And people are, that's subconsciously helping the platform itself a lot more than people think.
And he has a verified button on Instagram. And people would chop off their left leg for a verified button. And he has one because he's the CEO of a Fortune 100 or Fortune 500 company. And if he were because he's a passionate photographer, according to his Instagram. If he was like, hey, guys, I got some really cool gear that's hard to find on eBay. And this is how I looked at it. Right? This is how, because he buys stuff on eBay all the time, but he's not talking about how cool that is.
Yeah.
And he has a verified button. That's so cool.
Right. No, that's a very good point. Actually, I could challenge that to some degree because I do follow him a bit, and I've seen on Twitter where he'll post the new LeBron shoes, and then he'll market it, or he'll show it on, he'll share the eBay listing. But it just needs to be more. It just needs to be harder. It needs to go harder than what it is. It gets a couple thousand likes here and there, but it needs to be promoted more, and it needs to be more involved and more engaging. If Elon Musk can get on there and make 50 tweets a day himself, there's no reason why Devin can come on and start this kind of marketing as well.
Yeah, and Devin has a really strong, confident, aggressive attitude, and I want that person in charge making changes, but it just is not as visible.
No, Devin is great. I met him as well. Actually, I spoke to him at eBay Open.
That's right.
And he's an awesome guy. When I was talking to him, I felt like I was just talking to any other person. He put his arm on my shoulders, talking, we're having a good time. And I wish everyone knew that. I wish everyone knew that about him. I wish they knew who he was, and that would inadvertently help the platform.
Yeah, we think that eBay it cares about its sellers so much, but then it doesn't execute internally improvements that are obvious. Prince and I talked to this lady, Teresa Cox, who she inspired me to sell on eBay when she walked out of her house into this eBay barn. And she has been asking for changes for multiple years, simple changes that would make the site a lot easier to use. And she knows the people on the team responsible to do this personally, and these changes still aren't being made. So we agree with Elliott Marketplace or Elliott Management saying that eBay's sole focus should be improving marketplace. We just don't know why all these things people have been asking for and things that would make eBay the same level playing field as the other platforms. Why are they not being executed though? I don't get it.
Right. And I guess we see this there a lot more clearly than maybe they do from a back-end standpoint because we're actually sellers on the platform. But not only are we sellers, we're also very engaged in the community. So we see what thousands of other sellers, what they think about the platform. And ultimately, that's how we come up with our thoughts. And so I think they're pretty accurate.
Yeah, so we accept it. We will accept being co-CEO if you guys want to put us in charge. But and what we would try and do is just set timelines and knock this stuff out. And this is where I want to end on, which was we went to eBay Open last year, and what was promised to us at the keynote speech was we're going to give you guys employee access, and that's going to be live by Q1. That's going to allow your employees to access your platform without giving them the data, so they can log in, make listings, make changes without seeing your revenue and your personal information. And it's almost the end of Q1 now. I don't see any. There's no one has mentioned it. Where is that?
Yeah, empty promises like that are just not cool. The people that came to eBay Open, this is guys, if you don't know where eBay Open is, it's in Vegas. Everyone flies out to Vegas. We spend like 3 days there. It's a great time, don't get me wrong. But if you're making promises to your most loyal seller, like seller base, you have to deliver on those promises or you have to keep us updated and let us know what's going on. That's just negligence, in my opinion.
Well, it's also $1,500 to $2,000 out of your pocket just to go, let alone, and it's also in the middle of the week. So that's when eBay sellers sell stuff. You have to delay your own store to go to this meeting. And it's frustrating. We want to see this execution happen.
And by no means, this is not a complaint. We're not saying eBay is bad or whatever. We're just saying we're giving advice that would be potentially very helpful to eBay in a very raw manner, I'd say.
I think that's the main takeaway from going to that meeting in person. You have 15 people, 15 sellers on stage talking to new eBay employees, all passionate, all constructive criticism, right? And that's rare. Like to have that many people take time out of their day, go to a company, be a focus group, give valuable information. And we would have liked to see on stage, we would have liked to see all the employees have notebooks and like write stuff down. Like it's not like for fun. We want these changes to happen. And I think it's so obvious how passionate eBay sellers are.
Yes, especially because like eBay has something really good going, and they need to just elevate on that, and they need to take advantage of that, and they need to focus on going double downing on that, because there's a lot of people who, when they start selling on eBay, love it. When they understand it, they love it.
And there's a bit of pride when you understand. Oh, I get it. I get all these weird things and weird nuances, and I gotta list 2 things to wake up my eBay store. They get a huge sense of pride for figuring out, like, if I wake up and the first thing I do is lower 2 prices and raise 2 prices and change my shipping options, I'll get a sale. Like it's like a club that you're in. Yeah. You understand how it actually works.
No, it's totally awesome. It feels like as a seller now, since I surround myself with all other sellers on Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that, it feels like I've got this own personal community of people who want to grow and change their life. And I think it's very important to recognize that and put a more focus towards that. Because right now, like me personally, I'm 25 years old. I would proudly wear an eBay logo shirt, walk around eBay shoes. I would love that. I'd be jamming, walking down the street, just having a good time. But would I do that 5 years ago? Probably not. And the only key difference is I understand the platform more now. I'm more confident with the platform. I know what it is. I know what it stands for. And so that's why I would do that.
Yeah, we love it. We love eBay. And hopefully you guys take this as constructive criticism. We want to see the marketplace adapt and change. And we want all these new features. And all these people are taking a bite out of eBay by offering software that eBay doesn't deliver. All these little platforms are popping up. Last thing I want to end on was my final thought is back in the day, when I shopped on eBay and there was the game where you could sell something for $1 and do $49 shipping, and you only pay a final value fee on $1. Back in the Wild West days, I feel like every single thing I bought was on eBay. I was looking for these hacks and deals and ways to get stuff. I'm like, the seller can give me a better deal because he doesn't have to pay the full 10% fee.
Right.
I'm in there playing. And now they're like, as a lover of eBay and I'm earning a full-time living on eBay, I am not buying very much stuff on eBay. And I want to buy everything on eBay, but it's just not, it's not delivering.
Right. I mean, incentives. You need to be a little bit more focused on that. And I don't even think the cost is that absurd where they can't offer it.
No.
I think it's marginal compared to what their ROI is.
That's true. All right, guys, everybody have a great weekend. Everybody get some sales. And remember, ants go to where the sugar is. Please, eBay, start making some incentives to make these changes. Oh, wait, Prince, tell people where they can find you.
Oh, guys, if you want to find me, I'm mostly on Instagram right now. It's just at Prince Patel, my name. So I'd love to see you guys there. I share my personal data on eBay there. So if you want to check that out, feel free.
All right, guys, take care.
See you guys.